The night is dark and full of terrors.
But not anymore. Welcome back to the Tacomaholic channel, everybody. If this is your first time stopping by and you love everything related to Tacomas, well, just go ahead and subscribe now. And the weather's getting chilly outside. If you want to grab a sweet long-sleeve Tacomaholic t-shirt like the one I'm wearing, check out the link below. Okay guys, so the plan for this lighting video was to install those Tundra-style bed light brackets and lights, LED lights, that go right back here in the corner, and my buddy came by to actually help me with those, but I forgot to actually print out the drilling template for them, so instead of like wasting his time running off and finding those, I thought I had them, couldn't find them, even though it did seem like those Tundra-style bed lights were the most popular choice from the video I did asking for what you guys wanted to see next. So we're heading up here to the front of the truck where I've installed a few other lights. You can see right here. Baja Design Squadron Sports playing wonderfully with the Spot KC Hilite Flexes. Now initially I was going to go ahead and install these. These are the D2 Midnight Edition Rigids. I've got some caps on them right here just to protect the lens since these aren't installed on the truck yet. Initially I wanted to install these next to the Squadron Sports just because they were roughly the same size, even though this is circular, the others are square. I thought that would fill in this space nicely. And I did record how I mounted those in case you guys wanted to see that if you're thinking of doing something for yourself, which I'll go ahead and show that clip now. Okay, so here's the setup. I have the driver's side. These aren't wired or anything. I just wanted to see how I like the position before I started running a wire, obviously. Always a good thing to do that first, just to make sure you like the way it looks. The hyperspots are attached. There is a slot right here on the side of my bumper, so those are just attached right in there. For these, I didn't want to have them like on an angle. I initially thought about doing them here on the bottom of the bumper, but that is sloped a little bit. You can see like maybe 10-15 degrees. And I was worried that if this got twisted or whatever, it would like throw light a lot higher. And I want to use these actually when I'm driving, like even on the street, so I didn't want to blind anyone. So I got these sort of leveled off with these brackets right here. I'll put a link for these down in the description. You can use these with a wide range, I think 1 inch, 1.5 inch, and 2 inch steel pipe. This is 2 inch right here, and I found that they come with these different like C-shaped pieces of rubber you can use so it's not going to scratch metal to metal contact. I found that if I had both of the rubber pieces on each side of that, there's like 2 C's that attach, it was too tight. This pipe was a little too big, so I couldn't really thread it in and get it sealed. So I just did one on one side and put like some weather stripping on the back side, which you probably can't tell, just to keep that metal to metal contact off. But you can orient these any way you like. These are for horizontal arrangement. They also make them for vertical. If you've got a hybrid bumper like me, you can really mount them wherever you want. Of course, I wanted to keep mine so it's parallel to the ground and is lined up as close as possible with these. I think that's a pretty good setup. Now, initially, I'll show you this on the other side. This is sticking out farther than I initially wanted. I mean, it's still fine. It's still like even with the bumper. I wanted them tucked back a little bit. So on the other side, I did an experiment. I have the mounting bracket up here, the bar mounting bracket, flipped, so the mounting point for the light was actually back here. Show you over here real quick. It's still attached, and I tried to get the light in there, but the bolt was hitting this brace up here, and I couldn't even get the Baja Designs light in here anyway without it like contacting the bottom of the tube. So that idea is out. Still, I think it looks fine. Give you a few shots right here. Doesn't really stick out that bad. It should be protected off-road. Obviously I got to be a little careful. That's why I initially wanted to tuck it behind the tube to add some protection. So in that clip you can see I was sort of hung up on having these, the Squadron Sports, since they are the wide cornering. I wanted those out far to the side, and the way I had them lined up, it just wasn't working. I prefer to have the lights as tucked in as possible. I'll show you a few quick angles so you can see. Obviously for a little more protection from off-roading, so if any rocks or anything come up here, branches, the tube will sort of shield these. And I don't know why I didn't think of this sooner, but obviously the yellow bezel on the KC Hilite Flexes, it does come with this yellow gold. Obviously looks beautiful next to the amber, yellow, gold, whatever color you want to call it, faceplate on these Squadron Sports. So that is what we decided to go with, and of course, since the KC Hilite Flex is a much smaller light, it tucks in there beautifully. It tucks back in there, so it's a lot more protected. And honestly, having these two next to each other, the Squadron Sports are the wide cornering, more of a flood pattern, and these are spots or hyper spots for the Flex. I can't exactly remember. I will go ahead and show you the light output for these, but having them next to each other is a deadly combination. And as you guys know, when you're like taking pictures or video of your light output for these LED lights, it's really not going to do it justice. So I'll go ahead and show you some daytime shots just so you can see that with like less exposure for the lenses. They sort of show up better for the color output, and of course the night shots. And here is the day output. Again, it's the wide cornering in the middle for the amber light and the pure white 5000K light for the KC Hilite Flex spotlights on the side. Curious to see how this is going to show up on camera, but there's the light effect. Beautiful combination in my opinion. Comment below, let me know what you guys think. As far as the wiring went for getting these two lights installed, I finally wired something to the S-Pod on my truck, which is right over there. For those of you who don't know, this is something you can install ahead of time. So pretty much your next 6 lights or whatever accessories you want to put that need a switch are already pre-wired. So all you have to do is run the wires, positive and negative, from whatever, in this case a light, directly to the S-Pod, and you're good to go. So I finally got something wired to that, have it on the first switch. And here's the switch panel real quick so you can check that out. Right up here on top, this is always on, so even if the truck's off, I can turn that on. Lights up nicely. I do need to put a sticker here for whatever I want to call those lights, I guess spotlights. So even with the truck off, you can see KC Hilites all lit up without the truck being on. And just to show you really the way this goes, I pop the top off the S-Pod, just like I said. Black for the ground, red for the positive. You can pick, they're labeled SW1 for switch 1 through 6, and there are fuses on the other side. You can mix and match whatever you need. These aren't super high powered LEDs, so don't need anything crazy for that. That's literally all you have to do. Unscrew these little screws right here, put the wire under there, tighten it down, and you're good to go. It's that easy. Definitely recommend one of these setups if you have a lot of accessories that need to get mounted to your truck. So while I wired the KC Hilite Flexes to the S-Pod, got that all hooked up super easy, I had my buddy, he has a lot more electrical skills than I did, and I forgot to film this part because he literally did it and it was already done. I didn't even know it was that fast. I had him connect the Squadron Sports to the factory Toyota fog light wiring harness, and all he did with that really is just snip off the end, and he just added a couple, I guess, splices. I don't know, I'm not an electrical guy, I don't know the terminology, and connected that to the plug from the Baja Designs lights. That way, even though I have still 5 more switches available on the S-Pod and 5 more switch slots down here on my Iggy panel, I figured I'd go ahead and save 1 slot for future stuff and just keep using the factory fog light switch for that. So that's what I'm doing. I did do that previous fog light anytime mod, which I did way before I even started making videos. So I can turn this on without the headlights being on or anything. The only thing I don't like about the factory fog light switch is it does not light up, so I'll probably look at getting an aftermarket switch of the same size I can pop in here just so I can see that at night. So save myself a switch, because otherwise, what am I going to use this slot for? So I'm sure I could think of something, but wanted to go ahead and use it for the fog light since that's what it was wired for. Even though the Baja Design Squadron Sports are way too bright to be using on the street, I'm not going to be that guy. That's just about it for this lighting install, guys. We got 2 of the LEDs I have had forever installed on the truck. I've had both of these for I think at least a year now, so finally making progress with the lighting game. Of course, still tons of stuff to install. Comment below, let me know what you think of that setup. I love the way it looks, having the amber bezel with everything. It just ties in beautifully, and the light output is phenomenal. You can't even tell from those night shots I posted earlier. It's not even close to what it really is. The camera just can't do it justice. And that will just about do it for this video, everyone, which is good because of course it looks like it's getting ready to pour down rain any minute. As always, thank you so much for supporting the channel by watching this video. Enjoy the rest of your week, and I'll see you in the next video.